Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys today? I'm excited to be with you today and bring you this really fun treat holder. So we are making this one. I call it my Chocolate Pretzel Love You box because it has Valentine I Love You as the sentiments. Those come from the Love Cat set. We're going to do a little masking to get those words on our treat package. I've also paired it with the Stylish Shapes dies, which you guys know I love those. I'm sure you own them by now because I talk about them constantly. And then this Valentine's Day, if you've been watching me and you have not ordered the Give It a Whirl dies, what are you waiting for? Because they're amazing. And we've used these 3-stitched hearts over and over and over. We're going to use this one, and this one once more. On this here, we're going to cut them out of our DSP. And we're also using the heart punch back. You can see it over here in the corner. So the heart punch back, if you don't own that, I recommend it. You do get the 2 punches in a pack, so it is a little bit pricey, but you are getting 2 punches. And one is a scalloped heart and one is a regular, and that is what I use to do this really cool window. So let me get all this stuff out of the way. We will get started. I used some non-traditional Valentine colors, added a little bit of Coastal Cabana in there. I am a bright girl, and Coastal is probably one of my favorite colors. I like the aqua, turquoise, colors like that. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to take this piece of cardstock, which is 6.5 by 5 1/4, which means that you can get 2 of these boxes out of 1 sheet of cardstock. I try and be economical because I like getting multiple treats out of a sheet of cardstock. And I had bought these chocolate covered pretzels at Marshall's, actually. You know how they have during the holiday time all kinds of food. And so I got those there, but you can make your own chocolate covered pretzels or you can purchase them. But I thought they were really cute and I wanted to make a box. It looks like they were $5.99 for this big bag. There is the price on the back there. All right, let me get out my Simply Scored, of course. That is the board that I use for all of my scoring needs. So I'm gonna score down the short side first, which is the 5 1/4 inch. We're gonna score in 2 places, at 3/4 of an inch and at 4.5 inches. So those are my 2 score marks, 3/4 and 4.5. Then I'm going to rotate it to the long side, which is the 6.5 inch length. We're going to do 4 score marks. We're going to do 3/4 of an inch, 3 inches, 3 3/4 of an inch, and 6 inches. Again, 3/4 of an inch, 3 inches, 3 3/4, and 6 inches. That's all the scoring that you need for this cute box. So I'm gonna move my Simply Scored out of the way, and we're gonna go ahead and burnish on all the score marks. So let me grab my bone folder here. We will start burnishing. Don't mind my squeaky chair. You guys probably don't even hear it, but I hear it. All right, we have 1 more score mark down this side here, and then we're gonna work our way to the other side and burnish those. And then the next step that we're gonna do is we're gonna glue some DSP on the top. Let me bring the box back in so I can show you guys. If you need to grab a quick snap of the score marks, you can do that. So I decided that I wanted 2 different kinds of designer series paper. I'm gonna bring it up to the camera here. I wanted this really cool little hexagon shape print, which came out of our celebration pack. You can earn it with a $100 purchase, and it is in Coastal Cabana. And then I used the little red Sweet Sorbet DSP that has little tiny white hearts, and that's from the Country Floral designer series paper out of the mini catalog. So 2 different packs. I wanted it to have 2 different textures. So we're gonna attach that on to our piece. But first I'm gonna go ahead and do all my cuts, and then we'll glue our DSP on there. I'll bring the DSP in and I'll give you the measurements on that in a couple minutes. So the first thing we're gonna do is, this is gonna be our flap of our box. So when we open our box, it opens hinged, and this flap right here is the one that we're gonna cut first. So because we have the flap, we do not need these two little small rectangles on the side. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of them. And you can see that my flap here has angled ends. So we're gonna angle both of those, and then we're gonna cut those little rectangles on the side away. So that's our first cut. Now these right here form the two sides of the box, and you can see that I've angle cut those. So I'm gonna actually angle cut here, and then I'm gonna cut straight down that score mark here on either side of this small square. So we wanna make sure, I didn't think I got close enough there. We're gonna angle cut as well here. Oops. And we are going to cut on this side as well. And angle cut. And then we're going to angle cut this one and our last side as well. So we're gonna, I'll show you when I'm all done. We're gonna rotate to the other side and repeat that exact same piece. So we're gonna angle cut here and here. We're gonna cut straight down here, straight down here, and angle cut, angle cut, angle cut, and angle cut. Let me move all of the little scraps out of the way. And then if you guys want to take a screenshot, you can. That's what it's gonna look like. Oops, one of the little sprinkles from my pretzel popped out. All right, so that is the score marks. So this is what's gonna form our box. So this is gonna be the outside of our box. This is where we are going to glue our DSPs down. So I have two different designer series paper. Again, I have this one that's from the Celebration, in the Celebration mini catalog. I'll show it to you. It's this pack on page 14. And then the other paper with the little hearts is from the Country Lane, which is on page 9 of the regular mini catalog. And it's this paper here. And it has that one right there. That's the red heart. So that's where I got both of these papers from. So they're 6 inches by 2.5 for the heart piece, and 1 1/4 for the hexagon piece. And we're gonna glue those down. So we're gonna start with the heart. I'm gonna grab my silicone mat because me and glue are messy. And this piece is going to be glued from here, from this score mark to the end. And you can see I have a little left over. We're gonna trim that away as we need it. But we want this to glue down really well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place it where it's going to live. And then I'm gonna grab a pencil and I'm going to run that along this piece so that I know where to put my glue. So there is my pencil mark. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply glue to my box. So we need glue here, and we need glue here, and here, and here. So on these 4 panels, and I'm just, now that I've done my wiggling with my glue, I'm gonna come down here and make sure I'm close so that I get nice coverage on all of these panels. All right, so there's the first. I'm gonna put my glue out of the way. We'll bring our paper in. And if you have directional, I wanted my box to open on the right side. If you want yours to open on the left, you just have to rotate it around, but that's the direction that I'm using. And I'm gonna lay my DSP down on top, and I'm just gonna, that's why I love this glue, because you can wiggle it into place exactly where it belongs. There we go. And I love that it gives you that little bit of wiggle room, and we're gonna go ahead and press that down. And now we're going to glue our 1.25 inch piece on, and it's gonna go from the top down. So for this one, I'm actually gonna put the adhesive on the DSP. And then we're gonna lay this, and it's gonna overlap our red hearts, which is fine. That's what we want. And we want to make sure that we're pushed up against, I'm gonna turn it upside down here so I can make sure that I'm right along that score mark, right where I want it to be, that I have coverage all the way across, and I can slide my paper over a little bit at a time. And press that into place. So now I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna trim whatever's left over or overhanging on this side. I'm just gonna follow my box, and I'm just gonna trim. I'm actually gonna use my paper snips because they get into really tight little spots, which I love. I love these little thin bladed scissors. All right, so see, it's not much waste, but I'd rather have a little extra than not enough. So once that's in place, what I'm gonna do is, you can see where the score marks are. I'm gonna make sure that, since I started cutting with that other scissor, I didn't get it very well. There we go. So we're gonna burnish again. And bring my bolt folder back, and I'm just going to make sure that all of those score marks are burnished now on. It also helps to really push down your DSP if you run your bone folder over it. And then here's the last piece. So that's our 3 score marks there. So there's our pattern on our box. So now we're going to go ahead and glue our box into place. So I talked about this being, oh, actually, before we glue our box into place, we have to make our window. I forgot about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our solid heart, and I'm going to fold this piece under and these pieces under, and I'm going to bring my heart in, and I'm going to center it on this panel. This is my front panel right here. So I want to get a good amount, and I want to make sure that I use the score marks that I have here as my guide, and I want about the same amount on either side. So I have to slide this slightly down. This is where my score mark is, right here. And we're just going to eyeball the best we can. I mean, you can measure if you want to. It's really up to you. You can also bring that piece down to help you see it a little better. But I just try and eyeball. If you want to measure, you can. You would take your ruler and make sure that from the edge there, you have about the same distance. That's how I would go about eyeballing that to my to the edge of my punch. It's about the same approximately. It might need to wiggle slightly, you know, this way or that way, but if it's not perfect, that means it's handmade. So we're going to go ahead and press that, and it's going to punch our heart into our piece. Okay, now when you do that, don't be surprised that you get a little divot out of this piece. There's no other way to do it, but no one's gonna know. That's the side panel, and as you can see in mine, it also has that. And then you have this really cute little heart, or you can use that side. It's glued together, so not much you can do about that. So now we're going to do this outline, and we're also going to glue our window sheet on here. So the piece for our window sheet is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and I'm actually going to take a slight hair off of each edge just to make it just slightly under 2 1/4, because I just want it to fit perfectly in there without having to worry about the score marks. So I kind of just cut a little sliver off of each end, and we're going to go ahead and put our adhesive on the back side. So we're going to place this down, and we're going to figure out where we need our glue. And so I'm going to go around my heart here and come down. And then we're going to kind of, you don't need a lot. This glue actually very little, and you want to make sure that you kind of bring that down like that. And let's place our window sheet on, which is what forms our little barrier, right? To keep our pretzels from falling out. And then just make sure that your score marks still work. And cutting that little hair off really helps. So this is going to need to set. So I'm just gonna move it off to the side for right now and let it dry while we're working on the next part. So I have a scrap piece of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to punch a heart out of it. I'm just gonna slide it in here and punch a heart. Then I'm going to take my scalloped heart, and I'm going to insert the same piece that I just punched into my punch, and I am going to line it up so that I have a border all the way around of white around that scallop. And when I'm happy, excuse me, when I'm happy with that amount, I'm gonna hold it in place and hold my punch just like that. And it gives you this really cute little scallop border, which we're gonna put on the outside of our box. So then you can just discard this piece of white or save it for another project, whatever you wanna do. But that is how we use our heart punches. So there's that one. I'm gonna continue to let this dry. We're going to flip it to the other side, and we are going to glue this on the outside just like that. Isn't that so cute? So we're just going to put tiny bits of glue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let a little out, and then I'm going to just not squeeze anymore, and I'm going to drag my adhesive down a few scallops, then a squeeze again. Drag it down a few scallops. You don't need a lot. It will stay in place. This is a very strong adhesive. That's why I love it. And it's very economical. I pretty much use this all the time for almost everything now. Unless I need a tape runner for a specific instance, but I love this wet glue. So I'm going to grab my tweezers so I don't get glue on my fingers and pick up my little scalloped heart. We're going to line it up here on our heart. We're going to let go, and then we're going to use our fingers to line it up, get it in place, and press that all the way down. Isn't that so cute? I'll bring it up there. There you go. All right. So now we can put our box together. I was a little premature earlier trying to put that box together before I was ready. But hey, what can I say? I get excited sometimes. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and attach our box. So we're going to take our sides and bring them up So we're gonna put adhesive on these tabs. So I'm gonna add wet adhesive. And we're gonna bring the sides of our box up so that they're nice and square. That's one. Let's do it on the other side. And bring this side up. Hold that for a second for it to grab. And then we're going to do our two front tabs same way. I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on both of them at the same time. We'll put this one first. Hold it in place. And our next piece in place. All right, we're almost done. It's time to decorate. We'll get our box put to the side. We're gonna start stamping. So I'm gonna do the two stamped pieces first. So the first one's gonna say I love you and the second one's gonna say Valentine. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of tape and I've covered the high there on this stamp and I just want the word Valentine. So I'm gonna grab my Memento ink. I'm going to ink it up. And I'm gonna remove this tape and then I'm gonna stamp it onto this piece of red, sweet sorbet is the color. It's just a scrap. So there's my word Valentine. And then what I like to do so that I don't get the ink on my fingers is I turn it inwards and form a little roll. And then I'm going to go ahead and clean that and we'll do the last part. So the last part says, I love you. And I love the I love hanging out with you. So I'm going to use that for the I love. And then I like the you from head over heels about you because I like that it had two capital letters at the beginning. I thought it was very whimsical. But you can use the you on this one if you prefer it. I just chose to do it with a third stamp. So again, I have tape covering the parts that I don't need. And I'm just going to make sure that it's set in place. I'm going to ink up the I love. Remember, don't forget to remove your tape. And then you're going to stamp that onto your little scrap. So there's that. Oh, I'm going to have to do that one again. I didn't get it quite inked enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this piece of tape and I'll grab another one. Just give me a second to not get it on myself. All right. Let me grab another piece of tape. I do keep tape in my drawer because I do mask quite a few things when I'm stamping. So remember, we're going to mask the words that we don't want. So I just want the I love to show. I just didn't put enough ink on there. All right, so let's ink that up again. Let's try that one more time. Now it's nice and inked. And we're gonna add I love right there onto our piece. Much better. All right, I'm gonna throw away this little piece of tape. And then we'll do one more. We'll do the word you. But first, I'm gonna clean the I love and on to the last piece. Now, this is the one I'm using just the word you out of. So I have the rest of it masked off. Hopefully this time I will do a good job of inking this up. I'll make sure I do. There we go. So you wanna pull this off. You just have to be careful that you don't get ink all over your hands. So I'm gonna set that down for a second. Turn it in on itself right now while I have it handy because I don't want to get ink everywhere. And we'll throw that in the trash can. All right. I'm going to cover my ink, get that out of the way, and we're going to do the word you. And I'm going to do the best I can to line it up. Like I said, if it's not perfect, hey, it's handmade. That's all they're getting. Not bad, not bad. I love you. And this one has a little space between it. I think it still looks adorable. All right. So there are our words. I'm going to show you how we're going to cut those. So we're going to start with our paper snips. And I'm going to trim away some of this. And I'm also going to trim away some of above and below. And I want to leave a little bit of room on this side here because I want to glue it underneath that circle. So I need something to attach it to. On this side here, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to make a little snake tongue or a banner end. People call it different things. So there's that one. We're going to do the same thing with the word Valentine. So first we're going to trim it more narrow. So we're going to get rid of the excess. And again, we're going to tuck that under a heart, so I need to have a little bit of room. And then we're going to go ahead and banner end or snake tongue, whatever you want to call that. There's that. We'll move this out of the way into the trash. And I have already die cut all of my heart pieces. I'll show you. I have the smallest circle from the Stylish Shapes, so it's the tiniest one. And then from the Give It a Whirl dies, I've used Sweet Sorbet for the baby heart. For the medium heart, I used one of the patterns from that Celebration paper pack. And this one is from the Country Floral. So that's those. And then I also, from the Country Floral, cut a piece away from the DSP that's an entire sheet of these hearts. And I did that so that I could cut around that and have this really cute little heart. It's a different shape than those stitched ones, and I just wanted to add a little interest and a little bit of extra love. I mean, after all, this project does say I love you, so lots of hearts, of course. Hearts are kind of my thing, so there can never be enough hearts for me. All right. So there's my hand cut hearts, my circle. So I'm going to go ahead and first adhere this baby one to my small circle. And I'm going to adhere this heart that I just cut onto my striped heart. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive in that corner because it's going to go just like that off of this end. And then I'm going to grab my tweezers and pick up this heart, and we're going to glue that in the center of the circle. All right. Then we're going to add the word Valentine to this cute little heart, like that. And we are going to add the word I love you to our little circle that has that Sweet Sorbet mini heart on it. So you can see we're just attaching all of our pieces just like that. And now let's put some pretzels in our box. So this box will hold 6 pretzels. So I'm gonna put 2. You stack 2 on top of each other. And 1 down in the middle there. Aren't they just the cutest? I love that they have all these little sprinkles on them. I think they're super adorable. All right, so there's that one. And of course you have to eat one for yourself because it's no fun making treats if you can't eat them, right? All right. So there is my little box. Hopefully it's nice and sound and put together. There we go. I don't know if I just didn't have it glued good. Let me see. I think I just have to press down. I think that's what the problem is, that the sides are not scored very good. There we go. So now we should be able to, I think now it will stay shut on us. Oh, there we go. All right, so now we're going to use some dimensionals. I already have them here. So the first one, we're going to attach these little hearts, and I want them to kind of stick up off of my box piece. I feel like I have like too much pretzel or something. Let me see. I think this pretzel, I'm going to turn it. There we go. You could always put other candies in here. You could put Ghirardelli chocolates. You can't put a lint because it's only 3/4 of an inch. So you just have to put something thinner in there. But I'm sure you can find, you could put M&Ms in here. All right, so we're gonna attach our dimensional onto the back. I'm gonna use 2. I'm gonna put one right about there and one onto the other heart, like that. So you guys know I love to use the take your pick tool to put these on. So let's go ahead and get that set up here, kind of maybe right there. I like it to stick a little bit off the box. I'm gonna put a dimensional on the back of this heart, and then I'm gonna put a mini one right there, and then on the rest of it I'm going to put some wet adhesive because it will rest onto those 2 hearts that are already raised up. I'll show you. Let me pull the backs off. So we're gonna lift this up. I'll bring it a little closer to myself, and then I want that Valentine to lean on those pieces just like that. I think that, I don't know why my box is being so persnickety. This one is not wanting, because I'm on the camera, that's why. If I was here by myself, it would fit perfectly. All right, there we go. So now our last one is also going to get a dimensional, and then I'm gonna put the minis down here. I'm gonna use 3 of those, I think. The more the merrier. All right. Get those out of the way, and let me throw those last ones in my trash can. Get all my tools out of the camera, out of the way. I don't know if I just, oh, I see what's going on. There we go. I think that this is just too far over. Much better. Okay, maybe not. Oh gosh. Real life crafting here. No editing. All right. If worse comes to worse, guys, we'll make a clasp. I mean, what are we gonna do? Or get some different chocolates. I don't know why this doesn't want to stay for me. It just doesn't want to listen. So when in doubt, get yourself a mini glue dot friend and adhere it to your panel. And then when you slide it in place and you press your piece down, guess what? It stays. So we'll put one on each piece. On each side. I don't know why these are giving me a hard time. The first one fit perfectly well, so of course I did not anticipate this, but like I said, it's because I'm live on a camera. But in a way, I'm glad that these things happen when I'm trying to show you guys, because you can realize that I also run into problems, that my things are never perfect. Life is not perfect, and you just got to find a solution, right? So if you ever run into a problem and you're making one of my boxes and you have an issue, just send me a message and I'll be happy to try and help you figure out what to do to fix it. Okay, so we are gonna now tie our twine. Our twine is 7 inches. And all of the DSP hearts and the cardstock hearts, I just use scraps to cut those, so I don't have any dimensions of those for you. And this is, like I said, a 7-inch piece of twine. I'm actually making a very tiny bow on my loops on my bow. I mean, not bow. I'm making very tiny loops. I wanted them to be small, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this one. And then we're gonna glue it in place with a mini dimensional, because they always make bows behave. Gotta love them. So I'm gonna just roll this one up. I'm gonna stick it on the back of the knot section of my tiny little bow. And I want this underneath my circle. I don't want it on top, so I'm just gonna sit it there, and then I'm gonna lift my circle so that that goes under there, and hopefully my this will behave itself on the video and do what I want it to do. There it goes. And then I'm gonna trim these little ends. So there is our cute little bow in the corner. All right, there is our project. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make that. Again, I use the Love Cats Stylish Shapes, Give It a World Eye, and the Heart Punch Pack. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber. And if you want to receive notifications of when I post new videos, click that bell and you'll get those notifications. I appreciate you being here with me, and I will see you here tomorrow for another video. This is day 13 of Valentine Project, and tomorrow will be day 14. So thanks for being here. And if you've missed some, you can click on inkyhandswarmhearts.com and go to my website and see all the projects. All my videos are embedded into my website as well. You can watch them on YouTube from there as well. Thanks for being here. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping.